Episode 16, welcome back, Legends and Dragons podcast from the Legends Lair here in Hurst, Texas. Chance Burleson.
Jimmy Klaus.
Chance, who do we have here today?
We have Mr. Stephen Wheeler, who... So, fun fact about Stephen.
Go on.
What I've noticed is that there are some people that I've built friendships with over decades.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then every now and then somebody comes along and you click into a rhythm like you've been friends forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like that garbage line that we tell women.
Go on.
Oh, I feel like I've known you my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't mean.
Yeah, I've never used it, but
Of course you had. But like legitimately a version of that. The second he walked in, his wife brought his kid in to sign up, and he was a pre-K. He was a little
5 years ago.
Yeah. And so Maddie brought him in, and then one time, the second or third time, Steven brought him.
Right.
And the second he walked in, I was like, oh, so a fighter. Cool.
Yeah.
And we immediately just started talking.
So you just noticed as soon as you saw him, it was like, that dude's a fighter.
And the second we had an opportunity to come up here after classes and put on that big self-defense suit.
Yeah.
So he could just hammer away and go as hard as he wanted. Like, I fell in love with him immediately. Yeah, it was great.
You're actually leaving a part of it out. So I was up here one day, and it was after my kids' class, and I asked you, hey, you want to spar? And that's like our first really major encounter.
Yes.
So, and then we started sparring, and we hit each other in the face a couple times, and after that,
We're great.
Dude, isn't it? So he made a comment years ago, and you're going to remember this, but I have to keep this kid friendly. Is that there are two things that bring people, like the intimacy, not just love, the intimacy.
The closeness.
The closeness is one, fighting, the other,
Romantic,
right? Those are the
two closest in can be.
And when you told me that, I started thinking like some of my good friends have been like, after we fight, I'm like, I love you, man.
There's a bond that happens.
Yeah. I mean, and when was the first time I met you? I think it was on the mats here. I think we actually sparring night
here,
Yeah, it was a sparring night. And man, like I line up, man, I bow, we touch gloves. I'm like, all right. I'm like, this dude, he's gonna whip my tail. And it was a good round, man. I enjoyed it. It was absolutely phenomenal. But listen, Chance, I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
You better be.
I mean, I really did not have the energy or desire today to.
I saw it in your face.
I was like,
man, you look like
no, who's that?
Me.
I was. So,
you look pretty.
But every time, it's like the mats, though, right? Every time I leave here after we record, I'm like, man, I'm so glad we did that, man. That was a good episode. So, but I had zero. I hate mornings. I know you hate mornings.
You come to the 6 a.m. too?
Oh man, I don't go to the 6 a.m. class, man. I told Philip
last week. I think they're doing it.
Well, here, right? Yeah, up here. But I told Philip, I'm like, listen, you will probably never see me. No. I've been to one 6 a.m. class. And that was when I had a week of vacation. And I went to the 6 a.m. class with them, and they absolutely murdered me.
And you've regretted it ever since.
Yeah. I might be dead now. I don't even know if I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Hey mom, I keep forgetting. Hey, there was a distraction, by the way. So somebody said that they were distracted. A couple of people said they were distracted by
my feet,
by your big old gorilla feet on here. So listen, have you guys used this? I mean, they say another feedback goes, hey man, there's stuff here, I get distracted and stuff. First of all, I don't care. I don't care either. But I don't think people like watch us, right? For some reason in my brain, like when I exercise and listen to a podcast, I listen to it, right? I don't watch. But have you guys seen this tool before?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's a Theracane, yeah. I've got
dude, it's phenomenal. You want to try it?
No.
You want to try it?
I'm good.
God, man,
You're trying it.
Yeah, I haven't used it. I absolutely tried it. Hey man, happy 4th of July, by the way. England, thanks for thanks for everything. I appreciate
y'all have fun at work today.
Yeah. What losers you are.
I say from work.
You know what? That's true. We're saying, God, we're such hypocrites.
I know.
Steven, man, so I want to jump right in.
Yes.
To basically your business, man, like what you're doing out of your home, if you will. Talk to me how that started for you.
Well, this goes back to COVID, pre-COVID, when I was working at the airlines. I had a job at Southwest. I was working crew scheduling, and then at the end of it, I transferred to the ramp. And then the COVID outbreak started happening. Well, I tested positive. So they said that I couldn't come back until I got a negative test. So I kept going, and over 3 or 4 months, I kept testing positive every time.
Really?
And they wouldn't let me go back to work. So I got a letter in the mail letting me know that they were dropping me from insurance. And all my money that they were paying me over this time, but it was all coming out of my vacation pay. So then when that ran out, my insurance ran out and my pay ran out. So I had no choice but to leave and go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I started mowing lawns. And while I was doing that, it was so hot outside.
Yeah.
I don't know how those people do it.
I don't either. I don't need it early in the morning.
You're right. But I started thinking about like all the fitness training and experience that I've had over the years. And instead of working for a gym, I wanted to develop something with my own culture, so to speak. And I wanted to do things the way I wanted them, because I saw certain things in the fitness world being done, and I just didn't like the approach. And I look around and see that it's not working clearly.
Sure. Like what kind of approach? Like what?
It's just the monotonous day in, day out of repetitive movements over and over. Right. Yeah. Like, I don't think that really gets people in shape, because it doesn't give them a goal that is not superficial, right?
Right.
When you start caring only about superficial things and superficial goals, you kind of lose like your side of where you want to be or should be.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of started incorporating more martial arts into my fitness training, more skills, because I think skills are what builds confidence, not a good physique.
Sure.
I mean, being healthy definitely can give you some confidence that you're not going to end up in the ER unless you get hit by a bus.
Right.
But it doesn't. When you walk into a room of people, you still are insecure. Right.
Right.
So like I heard this quote by John Donahoe one time, and he asked Joe Rogan, how would you feel if you took away all your training, all your fitness training, and you walked into a room full of people that you didn't know? How are you going to feel?
Right.
And that's regardless of like what kind of shape you're in.
Yeah.
Right. Because that can be more likely to be the reason that you quit in the long run.
Right.
Because then you have a goal, like I'm in shape.
Right.
I met this goal. Like you see all these people that come into the gym, especially all the gyms that I've been in, and you see them hitting it hard, and they disappear.
It's so funny that you're saying this. Nikki and I were having this conversation last night about how much of my youth I spent working out and eating right for the purpose of being hot. Like I wanted to be in shape, and I wanted to eat right so that I looked appealing on the outside, and it never worked, because exactly like Steven said, I would do it till I got hot enough. Right. I would make the sacrifice and do the workout and skip the pizza until I got hot enough, or till I landed, a girlfriend or something.
Right, right.
And then once that goal was achieved, I quit.
Yeah.
And we were joking last night about the older I get, the more it becomes like just being the best version of myself, and it has nothing to do with my appearance on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating because we both started looking better than ever when that wasn't the point.
Sure happens apparently.
It's almost like inheriting a trust fund once you don't need money anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I get the looks when that's not what I'm trying to get.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be like martial arts. That's just, obviously.
Sure.
That's what we do.
But it could be any type of skill. Pistol squat.
Sure.
Like some one type of movement that you can't do. But instead, I see people, they run on the treadmill.
Sure.
Forever. And they go bench press. And they go squat. And to me, that's like, that leaves me with an empty feeling. I do that.
Sure.
Right.
Plus, it doesn't give you, those skills that will build that confidence for you to do other things that definitely transfer.
You've heard me talking about the knees over toes stuff.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yes.
I'd never heard of it before. So like his fitness approach,
Right.
like I view, and I've never told you this because, you and I don't need more reasons to get a big head. But the thing is that and Steven is on the cutting edge of what's working in the health and fitness thing. Like a lot of his concepts I had never heard about.
Yeah.
He told me about it.
And this was before that guy had
Anything.
500 followers.
Anything. And then, so like this thing, he's like, dude, there's this knees over toes guy. I don't know if you know about that here. Start doing this. And that was years ago.
So tell me about the knees over toes. Like, what is that?
So this guy, Ben Patrick, he kind of developed this concept of, like, I don't know if you ever were heard in school when you squatted or in sports or whatever, not to let your knees go over your toes. You only are supposed to squat 90 degrees. And that's been like a scientific, that's been the standard for years and years and years. But then you start looking at all these high level athletes. So when you're in the most athletic position, your knee has to be over your toe. Think about when Michael Jordan crosses, his knee is way over his toe, right? Kyrie Irving, all those guys. So if you ignore that range of motion and then you end up there, especially with a lot of force coming out, like cutting or something, your knees are gonna explode.
Yeah.
I mean, because it just doesn't have the strength to withstand that type of pressure. So I started thinking about it, and I watched his videos, and really all it comes from is all the injuries I've had.
Right.
I refuse to go to the doctor. That's another rabbit hole. But the last time that I had any form of surgery or anything, it was for my elbow. I tore the growth plate off when I was 15 bench pressing. But I've torn my LCL in this leg, now my MCL, my ACL in this leg, my labrum, and I've never went to the doctor. Never. And I've always fixed it my own. And just before I tore this MCL, I was rolling 6 days a week.
Yeah, so, and you can still kick Chance and I's right now, without a doubt.
But I just thought, all these people that get all these surgeries, they still come out off the operating table and they're messed up for
worse or no better.
Yeah, you get a bunch. If something's obviously sticking out of the skin, I think doctors are really good at fixing that.
Right.
And our medical field has really reached a certain peak where we can do that. But if there's just a tear somewhere, your body is way more capable of healing that tear than you think, especially with movement, which has kind of been lost. Like as soon as we sprain something, it's ice.
Wrap it up, stop moving.
Ice, rest. Yeah, that's what you want to do. But the longer that has went on, the more we've realized that that's not the right approach. You want to get movement in there.
Yeah,
and keep movement in there, because if you don't, it's going to get stiff, and that synovial fluid buildup will not be able to get in there. So then you have no healing.
Yeah. And this is going to be good for a bunch of our listeners, because I know a bunch of our listeners, even a bud up north, my buddy Mike Halen, shout out to him. He's going through some pains and injuries and needing some rest right now. So I think your information is going to help a lot. So let's say, well, before we do that, how can people get in touch with you?
You can either message me or my wife through Facebook, and just schedule through there. That's really all I have right now.
Look up Wheelhouse Fitness on Facebook.
Yeah, Wheelhouse Fitness on Facebook, or you can search Stephen Wheeler, and I make a lot of posts on there about it, so you can reach me there.
And on Facebook, there's his name as well for episode 16. You can just click on that. You can send him a message, and we'll share his information as well. All right, so let's say I come to you. Well, how many people do you have right now that you're training?
About 10 or 11. I have, so it really got started. I have a client named Neil. he started out as my client, and he started with me about the same time I was like going through the whole knees over toes and talking to you about it. It was a word of mouth. One of my jiu-jitsu friends told him about me, and I was trying to help him fix his knee pain and everything, and found out that he was a case manager for a company, his own company, called Elevated Lifestyle.
Okay.
And what they do is they help these families that have kids that are addicted. You know, they have alcohol problems.
Right.
Even adults he has helped. Just kind of teach them how to approach life in a different way than they've been approaching it. And I am the fitness and self-defense coach for them.
Wonderful.
So he sends me a lot of his kids and guys and sometimes women that kind of are finding themselves in a dark place and need some help. And I think martial arts is, I mean, it's done it for me. I know it's done it for you. Confidence it's a real thing.
Well, the thing with addiction, Stephen, is in whatever form it comes, whether it's alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling, sex, food. I think food is the great addiction of our generation. I think it is a conversation nobody wants to have, and it is killing us the most, but the slowest.
Yeah.
And the thing is in any kind of addiction, when you remove, which the first step in making a change is generally abstinence, right?
Right.
So listen, whatever's killing me, I have to stop doing it.
Right.
The problem is there's, the water displacement. When you move water, there's a thing where something has to rush in to fill that void. And if you just stop getting high or stop eating sugar or stop going to the casino, that won't last because there's a void there that has to have something in it.
Sure.
And what generally will happen is you'll give up the crack cocaine and start going to the casino. Like another manifestation is the most likely thing to fill it in. So if you don't intentionally, on purpose, fill it with something very good for you, something bad for you will jump into its place. And that's where somebody like him comes in handy.
And it's money too. I mean, this is a rabbit hole that we're going, but it's big money. Like because the industry knows that you can be addicted to sugar. So they're going, absolutely. So they're going to casinos. They know how to get you. They know
House always wins.
Their house always wins. We know that. But how many people we see? But going exactly. And dude,
we're addicted to the rush.
And listen, did you know in Vegas there's actually a casino, probably maybe as big as Legends here, but it's not open to the public. It is a casino that they study how casinos impact people.
Wow.
So with the ding 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 and whatever,
because they're not taking enough. They need to figure out how it is.
So when it comes to the food, when it comes to alcohol, when it comes to drugs or whatever, right? So Stephen, I come to you though, and I go, dude, listen, my knee's jacked up, right? What kind of plan would you? What would you do to help me with the knee issue?
Well, honestly, like there's you could do split squats or tib raises or anything. I could tell you to do a bunch of exercise, but I would assess you first.
Okay.
See where you're at. I would have you move around.
Okay.
Do certain movements, see where your limits are, see where your strengths are, and then that's kind of how I would build.
Okay.
What? So like the whole knees over toes thing, all the stuff that all the knowledge that I've gained is passed down. It's for other people, and I was solely doing that for a long time, but now I've kind of combined a lot of different things together that help you move better just in every day-to-day life. Like I have this 75-year-old lady that I train, and she could barely walk up the driveway her first session with me, but
listening all the video you posted.
Now she's doing 3 sets of 10 back extensions.
Yeah, that's right. Now,
and some dudes can't even do that.
Sure.
Yeah, throws her back out. So, and that was totally just from assessing where she was and what she needed, and then just kind of going from there. I don't have a cookie cutter approach.
Right. So everybody's different. Everybody's assess them.
Yeah, because your knee might be messed up because your foot, or it could be because your hip.
Right.
or your neck might be off. It might be all the way up the chain. You don't know where the problem is.
Well, and generally what they'll say, my third wife, I always think that's funny when my third wife used to say that where you feel the pain isn't where the problem is. It is an extension of what it's coming from somewhere else. Yeah,
That is.
I mean, if your leg's broken, that's the problem.
But if like sticking out,
But
like,
like,
that bone sticking out,
But most of you probably don't know this, but my son is one of my black belts.
Yeah.
And he
love him, by the way.
yeah.
Love you if you're listening to this. Love you, dude.
So Penis doesn't have any knee or shoulder or ankle or any problems. He had a boxing problem. Like he couldn't fight with his hands. It was the same thing that happened to me when I was a kid. When you're a child and you grow up in the martial arts, you learn that your legs keep people further away.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And then my dad, when I was 18, he saw me sparring. He's like, oh my God, my kid can't box. He's like, I'm not having a kid that can't box. And he grounded me from kicking for a year and made me go to Golden Gloves boxing.
Yeah.
And when I saw Pierce not able to mix it up on the inside, it was almost 6 months. He came to you once a week. I'd drop him off at the
Sometimes it was here, or sometimes
yes,
it was black.
yes.
Yeah.
And the transition was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So like he didn't work with his knee pain or back pain, like he works with his sucky boxing pain.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like his approach is like whatever you need, we can do that.
Yeah, and that's really why my company is called Wheelhouse Fitness, because I've done it all. I feel like, and with him and his boxing, it was because he avoided that.
Yeah.
And he would keep everybody at distance, and that's goes into the same type of thing with your leg. You avoid that range of motion. When you find yourself there, you're going to have some problems.
Right.
That's kind of how it all transitions throughout everything.
Can you just have been jabbed for how long?
Oh yeah, just jab.
2 weeks, just boom, boom, boom.
Just learn how to jab. Because if you can't learn how to jab, then you're not going
Right.
to.
So we have Shandy coming here at New, right? And so Wheeler's helping, like on Thursdays afterwards to help. And I remember Brian Creech, when he was for black belt, I told him, do not box a boxer, because when you're lined up against this guy, he's going to trick it up some, right? He'll go in, he'll do some, he'll throw some kicks, to
set up boxing.
right, to set up the boxing. But I told him, like, what he does, and what I've noticed is that he's like a Venus flytrap. Like, he'll set you up to, now you have no boxing skills, but guess what? Now you're inside trying to boxing, and he will eat you up.
But like you're not working rehab, which is what we're talking about, is rehabbing either lack of movement or injury.
Right.
Either a sedentary lifestyle or an injury.
Ooh.
But you train that security force, and you're not working knees over toes with them. Like you're working, pain compliance and grappling and
Weapon retention.
Talk to us about that. How'd that come to fruition?
That was actually, so one of my friends that I was a dispatcher at before Southwest at Ameriflight, I worked with him. We're still friends throughout the years, but he knew that I was a fitness coach, so he asked he talked to one of his friends at the shooting range, and that's where he met this guy. And he told him about me. The guy hit me up, and we trained together for a few days. And then he was like, "Man, I'd really like you to train my security team." So it was Gladiator Security here in Hearst, and he invited his whole crew, I think, up here a couple times.
Yeah,
I did it out of my garage, and it's amazing the reality that these people are in.
Yeah,
because they're dealing with people that don't know how to fight.
Sure.
And they were so uncomfortable in a lot of these situations because they don't let it get to that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which this is a whole nother rabbit hole, but this is why people are quick.
Sure.
Because as soon as it gets to that point, all their confidence is gone. Mm-hmm. And I think especially with police and security, anybody that has a gun, if they don't know how to fight, they don't need to have it. Because that's going to be their first.
That's a really good,
Dude, I didn't even think about
that's a really good point.
I mean, think about it. Like if you could wrestle a bear, you would. But you bring that gun around.
which I
Just in case.
absolutely beat a bear. I actually think I can. I think I can beat any animal that is talked about on this podcast. I think I can beat.
You're talking.
Yeah, I can't even go see it. So I love what you just said about if you don't know how to fight, you don't need a gun. Remember that concept or that kind of phrase that we've heard over our lives of when you're a hammer, everything's a nail.
Yeah.
So if you don't, if this is the only thing you have,
Right.
then it's gonna be your first reaction to everything. Right? But what I've noticed is, I'm no different than anybody else. I live in the same world that we live in.
Yeah.
I run into the same people that you guys run into at the grocery store, the supermarket. But my ability to fight is why I can talk my way out of a fight.
Right.
If I couldn't, I would be so scared and so angry and so...
that you might swing.
I would probably swing. But I understand more than the average bear what is involved.
Exactly. You're right. You're right.
What is involved with your people punching and kicking each other.
Right.
I know what that's like. I really don't want to do it without gloves. So if we can sort this out verbally, I would much rather do that.
Right.
And that's a really good... I never thought about that. You don't need a gun if you can't fight.
Yeah. And that's what...
any weapon, really, because if you don't know your how to move your own body,
The weapon's not going to do it.
really it doesn't do anything for up here.
Right.
Like,
And you'll be acting out of fear.
Yeah.
Not out of concern for the situation.
Right.
I tell people the one thing that, let's say you know how to fight a little bit. I mean, the number one thing that you need to have is confidence. You walk in, this is what I tell Journey and Town all the time. Walk with your head high, your chest out. You walk into a room like you own the room. Now, I'm not saying walk around with the ego like, I can beat it. Sure. But when you have that confidence,
Calm self-assurance, right?
usually people aren't going to mess with you.
They just skip them.
You're unlikely to get mugged.
People that look for marks don't pick people.
With confidence at all.
So, our student creed, it's June Reeves that he did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We just took that because that was Dad's instructor, to build true confidence. And what I love is the word true is in there.
Yeah.
Because a hot wife and a flashy car and a big bank account is a form of confidence. But it's not true confidence.
Right.
True confidence really only comes from a belief in yourself, and that comes through accomplishment. And you posted something, I don't remember it word for word, but it was a Jordan Peterson quote, and it was last night or the night before.
Yeah.
But basically talked about when you take action it contradicts your morals and values that are internal.
Yeah.
You become the embodiment of a lie.
Parasite.
And then the only way you can function is as an actor, and then you become the character.
Yeah.
And then you lose yourself.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, because guys, I've done that.
Yeah.
Like, in my younger years, I had a public persona, and then I had kind of like behind the scenes.
Nice. Right.
And man, the problem is I'm smart enough and I'm good enough
Yeah.
that I got away with it 99% of the time, but I didn't get away with anything. The worst consequence is when there are no consequences.
Yeah.
That is the worst consequence. Not getting caught is the worst thing that can happen when you break your own rules.
Right.
You got to go to sleep.
Yes.
With that voice.
It just eats like a cancer on the inside.
Right. When did you?
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear how you started.
Yeah.
You didn't. You weren't a fighter as a fetus.
I want to know that.
Did start
Middle school, high school.
Man, I had the same thing. I had this public persona that I would put on through high school, through middle school as well, and I made it work. I knew how to street fight.
Sure.
I went to karate when I was 5 years old. I don't remember the guy's name. He was in Cleburne, and his name was Steven, but spelled with a PH. long hair. I don't know if you sounds familiar, but
Seagull.
yeah, he probably looked like Seagal when he was 20.
Right. Not now.
No. But that was the only really martial arts experience I had up until I moved out of my house and I went to Ironside martial arts and got my butt kicked so bad. Dude, this guy mauled me for like 30, and I was doing jiu-jitsu, and he mauled me for like 30 minutes. I was only put with him, and it was driving me crazy. And I kind of left that place realizing that my whole life has kind of been fake. Like this whole, and I didn't know it.
This whole I can fight thing.
I didn't understand it because I would win street fights. You know, most of those are just holding on to each other.
Yeah.
Even giving them noogies. Like, it's not real. There's no technique.
Right.
But as soon as that happened, it kind of like changed my perspective.
We just opened your eyes. Yeah.
But I still, for a little bit, I still put it to the side and I went to boxing.
Okay.
And
how old were you when this happened?
18.
Okay.
And I was pretty good at boxing.
Yeah.
I've always,
You're still pretty good at boxing.
I've always had hands. So I really enjoy the boxing because of that. I kind of would avoid the jiu-jitsu the whole time. Like when I got tired of getting hit in the head, I would go roll again.
Right.
And then like after a class or two, I was like, I'm out.
Back to
But so I kind of just stuck with boxing for good 10 years. And when I turned 30, that's whenever I decided to do this jiu-jitsu thing.
Yeah.
All the way. And as soon, like I'm telling you, the first couple of weeks, I would be driving to class and like not wanting to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna suck. Like I just got mauled yesterday.
Right.
I don't know who's gonna be there today. Like it's a bunch of unknown.
Yeah.
You know, but I would make myself. And I think really, like in boxing, it's different. Like anybody can get a lucky punch. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it can happen.
It can happen.
Even if they're not even close to as good of a fighter as
Right.
they can get a lucky
They
shot.
can slip something in, and stuff happens like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that jiu-jitsu would be the same way.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
Yes.
So there's no way you're just going to walk in the first day of jiu-jitsu.
Get a lucky submission.
You're not going to even tap the one stripe white belt. They're going to kill you.
Yeah.
They're going to kill you.
Yeah.
So that kind of propelled me to where I'm at today with trying to mix everything in, because boxing is important too.
It's
I think for self-defense, and even though I'm a jiu-jitsu nerd,
Yeah.
it's boxing and wrestling.
Yeah.
Those are the two, for self-defense, those are the two best things you can have that in reality will get you out of a fight.
So there's a guy on YouTube. I'm a sucker for these karate YouTubers just because I'm a martial arts instructor and I'm a martial artist, right? And some of them are just, DBs,
Yeah.
But even them will make some good points every now and then. And so there's this new guy that I watch Icy Mike a lot. I watch Jeff Chan. I watch, Sensei Seth. I watch, Stephen Thompson. I watch all these guys, even the Rokas, the Aikido guy that got beat up by the jiu-jitsu guy. Well, now he's legit.
Yeah.
Like he did that ultimate self-defense challenge. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where they had to fight on the moving bus that was turning.
Oh, wow.
That was so great.
Yeah.
And they did the knife thing with the markers. It was so great, right? And what I love is they're bringing legitimacy to all of this. I love the knife thing because all of them are exceptional fighters. And they were all dead within a few seconds of the knife thing. But immediately, even the guys who knew how to use a knife, to 20 seconds, they were slashed and stabbed up, So, which is elegant proof for none of us to be that cocky,
It can happen.
Well, listen, Philip has a great story. Like, remember when Philip said that he held 2 black belts, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he went
Jiu-jitsu and
the guy had like 90 days of experience and he destroyed. He was a 5th degree black belt school owner.
Right.
But this guy, there's a new guy, and he's a nerd. I think his voice irritates me, so I'm not going to say who it is. But he's very opinionated, and he's like, this is why this doesn't work, and this is why this guy's an idiot, and I don't like people that talk like that, even if that's true.
Right.
But what he said was, what's the best self-defense martial arts style, hands down? And what he said was wrestling.
Really?
And this is why he said it.
Okay.
He said, I'm not saying that jiu-jitsu isn't great for self-defense.
Right.
But here's the thing with wrestling. Nobody's wrestling just to get out of their house and get in shape and blah, 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 blah. Wrestling is a culture that starts in school. And if you're not serious about trying to be an amazing wrestler, you quit. And so the only ones that are in wrestling class are trying to destroy each other.
Yeah.
And that culture breeds, like like the competitive nature of wrestling makes them all better. And he's like, so if Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was like that in high school, then the answer would be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
But because martial arts is now for everybody,
Right.
what that means is that in a school, you're going to have a handful of really good martial artists, but most of them are going to be just normal people that aren't trying to win anything.
Right.
And he goes, and that it's the like piranha nature of, he goes, and wrestling is probably miserable for most of the people that are doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But that culture makes them all so much better.
But they keep showing up. It's like Steven said.
And the takedown defense and the takedown, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can prevent getting taken down in the street.
That's why wrestling is, because jiu-jitsu is not as adamant about not going to the ground.
We've all seen most fights happen. Somebody punches and then there's a grab.
Uh-huh.
Like
Almost 100%.
because they're scared of getting hit.
Sure.
That's why they're going around fighting, which is
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But that inside grappling skill, it prevents that
Yes.
from happening. Like you're not going to get inside on a wrestler.
So if you don't want to go to the ground in a jiu-jitsu street fight, you should be a wrestler.
Yeah. Exactly. Because then you can prevent the takedown and
Right.
keep it wherever you want.
Right. So that's a really good point.
It is a good point. What is your favorite martial arts?
I would have to say jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah. Because what does he say?
Funny because you hated it for long.
Dude, I'm telling you, I would almost be in tears on the way to class.
Yeah.
Be like, this is like, I keep doing it. This is like the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
That the progress is so slow at first. Like you just feel like all you're doing is going there and trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Especially in a school that has fighters like Ironside did at that point. Like none of them were interested in like flow rolls. They were doing no flow rolls.
Let's just drill.
Yeah, and that's how it was with the boxing there too. But I like that. I like to throw hands. It was just as soon as like somebody's on top of me and I can't breathe, then I
panic.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how I was.
And so it's funny that you say that because I'm still, and I do jiu-jitsu every Sunday with one of my dearest, closest friends.
Yeah.
He's my instructor. What I do love is that we get to do Muay Thai together on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we're a little closer.
Yeah, right.
And so that's nice, but I still don't love jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
This is probably why you kept going to class. As a martial artist, I cannot pretend that I'm not aware of how necessary it is.
Yes.
Now, I don't love it because I suck at it. That's why I don't love it.
Right.
But if I practiced piano for 10 years, I'd probably love playing the piano. But I don't, so I don't. Nothing is fun when you suck at it.
Sure. That's why
People don't have skills is they're not willing to suck at something long enough to not suck at it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and one day you just wake up and you go to class and you're like, wow,
I'm getting
nobody tapped me.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
weird. And like yesterday, I went to class, and it's been a while since I've been there because I tore my MCL, and I dropped my kid off at 5:30. He goes to 5:30, 6:30 class, and the adult class is right after. So I see all these new faces that I haven't seen coming to the gym. I'm just thinking, oh, here we go.
But I know that's what people think when I.
But it's like 4 years ago, I would have not had that same feeling. Like that's definitely a confidence that comes from gaining a skill.
Right.
And like I showed up yesterday and I barely even sweat, and I'm like at 40%. you know? And that's being able, like seeing that and then realizing where you were.
Yeah.
I was the people that were getting beat up by guys with broken legs. Like I was one of them guys.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's kind of reversed. So it takes time.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck at first, but that's, yeah, like you said.
So you're not going to the thing that he's describing where, okay, I'm not getting tapped, and I'm actually tapping people.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're new to jiu-jitsu, I want you to know that won't be the first milestone. My first mile, there's a milestone before that.
What?
And
Okay,
for
what do you think?
me,
Yeah.
it's the cardio.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn to breathe.
Well, it's just realize, yes, because when you're not as unskilled, you breathe better. But what's happening to me, I'm not tapping anybody. That I'm not to that point that he's talking about.
Yeah.
What happened to me Sunday in jiu-jitsu is we were specific training, and then we did a little bit of light rolling.
Yeah.
But after the rounds, this is the thought in my head. I thought, I think I could do another one.
Yeah.
And that hadn't happened yet.
Right. Okay.
Like I was just dying for him to say the lesson's over, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of this one, I was like, you know, I'm not completely dead. I think I could do another round. That will be the milestone that happens
Yeah.
before you start tapping and submitting.
Yeah.
Is you'll start just being able to roll without having a cardiac arrest.
Dude,
Which is great. I'll take the win. I'll take the win. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we did just a few weeks ago before you hit before you hurt yourself.
it was right before.
We flow rolled for good 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It just nonstop the whole 40 minutes. And then when I looked at the watch, like, dude, we've been going for 40 minutes just roll. So for me, my first W, on the jiu-jitsu mats was when I had an upper belt tell me you're getting hard to submit.
Yeah.
That in my brain. Oh man, in my brain. I mean, he did submit, but he's saying I'm
Right.
because I'm defending myself. I'm defending my neck. I'm defending my hair. I'm being all close because right when I first got on the mats, I was trying to do the distance. Like my brain was taekwondo.
You were doing the kick.
I was trying to do like, don't get off me, get off. And as soon as I gave up my arm,
Well, one of the things that I love about Steven, it's a trait that I have that I really like about myself.
yeah,
And that is there are no BS compliments.
right, yes,
Now, that doesn't mean he's not a sweet guy who won't say something nice about you.
yeah,
But if he can't compliment you on your martial arts, he'll say, "Hey, your gi looks great today." You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he'll say something nice.
right,
But if you get a compliment from him on progress or martial arts,
doubt.
it is a legitimate compliment.
and that's a W for me.
And I say that to my students all the time. If I tell you something is right
Right,
and you're getting better, you are getting better.
right,
Because I won't lie to you about that.
sure.
I'll tell you I like your hair if you suck at martial arts, but I won't tell you you are getting better if you're not.
Well, that's why when this guy when we were done, he goes, "Man, you've gotten better the last time we rolled."
Yeah.
I was like, "W,
Yeah.
taking that win," even though he did. So, man, you boys watched the debate?
Of course I did.
Did you watch the debate? You just watched?
I felt like my IQ level.
I can't. I didn't. No, of course I didn't watch the debate.
Yeah.
But what happened was, because it happened while I'm teaching,
Oh,
like my life between 2 and 3 in the afternoon and 9 or 10 at night,
yeah,
I am unavailable.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
because
you
you're
need
on
something from me, you can go
that's your
jump up. Like, I that is my lunchtime,
Right.
So by the time I got off work and I got on Facebook, I just saw this, oh my gosh, what is it? And then I was like curious. And I normally don't care. Like, I don't know if I've ever watched a debate in my life.
Yeah.
So when I saw what everybody was talking about, I was like, well, what's this?
Yeah.
But then I went home and I got on YouTube, which was my favorite channel.
Yeah.
And
Subscribe to us, but
I started watching these clips, and
dude,
oh my gosh,
yeah, it was phenomenal.
it was
I was laughing.
comedic gold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. My favorite part. I'm just gonna be honest, and just probably a lot of Americans that watch it. My favorite part was the golf.
Arguing about golf
Was phenomenal. I said, listen, the two these guys, right? One ex-president,
Sure.
leaders of the free world. There's a lot of bull crap going out in this world. A lot of other stuff to talk about.
That's what
Now we're talking about our handicap of golf.
Right.
It was. I was like, this is beautiful. I couldn't make up a
when I see, and I'm just going to tell you this, so I love you to bits. We'll still be friends. But anytime I see one of my friends post about one or the other, touting the wonderful virtue of either person, you're like immediately. I'm like immediately,
Like, you know, dude.
I'm right, and I'm like, do you have the internet? Like, and so, but after that, they got a little quieter. You know what I'm saying? They're not bragging on their guys so much after that.
Oh, it's
Either one of them.
Listen, being a government man, I'm a government man.
Sure.
Over 25 years in the government now. Of course, I can't stand the government, so I'm a hypocrite as well.
Sure.
But I have been screwed by both parties.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if a Republican has been in office, a Democrat's been. Dude, I have been furloughed. I have gone I've gone over a month, 35 days without a paycheck. Mm-hmm. So you know how defeating it is to go to work and then you get your pay stub and it says $0.
Yeah.
You know, so it didn't, to me, it doesn't matter.
You know who I did see an interview on the other day, though?
Who's that?
So Shandy posted it. It was you got to get around the way he talks.
Okay.
Kennedy.
Oh, yeah. Kennedy.
Independent.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing that gives me a little bit of hope. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Thomas Jefferson.
I didn't know the guy, but I heard good things about him. Go ahead.
Thomas Jefferson. And he was around in the beginning. I don't know if you know that.
But okay.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there. Yeah. Fake news. Go ahead. I cite your sources.
Forecasted our exact situation.
Yeah.
He said the two-party system will destroy this country.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And if we're going to stick in this one or the other,
right?
I don't see any hope. But if we will, as a populace, start going, guys, there are more options out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I voted for Kanye, but y'all want to keep messing around.
Did you know this? Did you know? And I didn't know this. They polled. There are more people who identify as an independent than either party.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm like, sure. Well, then why is, what's the problem?
Because they have created this two-tier system. And listen, and for those that have skipped school and are watching this YouTube, even back then, you know, the Whig Party, the parties have changed throughout the years.
Yes.
And when people start talking about, the politics, they should be nice, they should be... Listen,
it's never been.
They made a Broadway play about Hamilton.
Oh, dude,
I don't
know when went to it.
Oh, yeah. Journey laws.
I gave it to them as their anniversary present.
Yeah, you guys remember what happened in Hamilton? You know, political rivals, shoot and kill each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's been going on since the dawn of our politics. Happy Independence Day, by the way.
Yeah.
See, because guess what?
America.
Yeah, America. And you know what? I'm allowed to. I have the freedom to talk about my...
That's why I love this country. I'm forever a patriot.
Yeah.
Because I'm unapologetically talking smack
about our government.
About it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it's so great.
Can't do, if we were in China,
they can't put an Iran.
You know, it already came in.
If we were in China, dude, we've been already flogged.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But China, you can't do it. Iran, you can't do it.
You know what I love is they call it the people's. It's the people's government. Is it?
No, come on.
Looks like your government. It doesn't look like the people's government, but there's the people's
government. Let me ask you guys a question. How is it that politicians, when they leave Congress, are making millions of dollars when they... Insider trading, maybe?
Did you know that Robin Hood was not the story we're being told?
I don't think he's white. Was he white, too? Because
he was in Britain. Of course he was.
Okay, go on.
Not his buddy. Not his buddy was from wars. Yeah. You know, his buddy was who's the guy?
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
Or are we talking about the guy from Men in Tights? He was a black dude.
What is his name? The guy that laid out you.
Yeah,
yeah, that was his name. I forgot about that. Is that Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, I think it was Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Anyways, all right. So
Robin Hood actually didn't rob the rich and redistribute to the poor. He robbed the government and gave the poor people their money back because they were being overtaxed.
Yeah.
So Robin Hood was not, taking from the 1%.
Yeah.
What if we had a modern day Robin Hood, he would be robbing the IRS and giving that money back to the people, which I could get on board with.
I'm down. I'm down for that too. In fact,
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I might after I retire from the government.
I'm confident. Surveil anybody.
They're going to come watch.
They're watching.
We got that guy, man. They'll say, "Oh my god!" But anyway, politics is so crazy to me because I know that you and I've talked about it. Chance, like these guys on TV. Oh, I hate you, there, Stephen Wheeler. But then you invite me to your kid's wedding.
Oh yeah. Or go out. These guys aren't enemies.
Yeah,
They're golfing together.
yeah.
It's a great.
Well, it's joke. Well, not Biden and Trump though, because they're not golfing together.
So one of the things that we do, I teach this bully proofing concept, and it's basically a thing called verbal judo, which is something they use in law enforcement to de-escalate. It's psychology, neuro-linguistic programming. But basically, Steven comes up to me and tries to start a fight and bully me. And one of the best tricks in the world is you are his buddy
Yeah,
and you're watching him.
yeah,
And what I do is I try to start a fight between the two of you
yeah.
to remove me out of it.
Oh, yeah,
And that's exactly the joke that's being played.
yeah.
Is they've got everybody fighting each other so hard
Right.
that they're not even, who said this when I was 10 years old? George Carlin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked about this too. Yeah,
Keep them all fighting each other so they can run off to the bank.
yeah. Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Hey, by the way, I this was on a podcast that we talked about, but we had to re-record.
Yeah.
Nikki's views from our interview. Good luck, man. She is. Well, I think Philip only because it's been on YouTube longer, but she's got the.
Well, Philip has better tattoos than her.
I don't do. Yes or no? What would you say?
We need you to get a
Debatable.
We need to get you to get a spider tattooed on your face.
Like,
You to buy me more tattoos.
And
tattoo fun.
we're gonna. I need the program director of Legends Martial Arts to have a diamond tattooed on the front and 2 stars on the side of her.
There you go.
Just get the exact tattoos of Philip.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have a diamond.
Yeah, he might. Well, now we're gonna have to ask him.
I've been studying.
Hey, so as we're winding this down, well, hello, ladies. I just got beat up. Oh, look at there on the podcast. Now, I just got beat up by Blas back there, man. Anyway, as we're winding this down, Stephen, of course, thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I want to have you back on. We'll talk some more because I love what you're doing. And what is it? Is the Wheelhouse?
Wheelhouse Fitness.
Wheelhouse Fitness. Guys, we're going to put a link on here as well. But I want to end this, and you guys jump on it too, with the shouldas.
I'm sorry.
The shouldas.
That's a
Like a shoulda. I know. Well, I said shoulder, but I
Careful not to should all over yourself.
But here's the thing with the shouldas, right? So when I asked you to start this podcast, right? It's one of those things to where this says, what does it say? Like shoulder right there, maybe. It says it's
Stay on.
I'm sorry. Nikki's over here just right. Anyway, so when I asked you to start this podcast, it was for bring our friends on, sure, whatever, right? But the more that I have, we talked about losing a parent, we talked about losing friends, we talked about this. What I want you guys to listen is don't hold off making that call to a bud, checking on them. Don't until it's too late. Like I should have called them. I should have met with them. I don't want the shouldas to basically take you guys out there. Like you shoulda. I wisha. I coulda. I shoulda called. I shouldn't make that call. Check on your friends. Do a buddy check. This is 4th of July. There's a lot of veterans. I'm a veteran. I want you to, if you know someone to serve, just check on them. Just blast them a text.
Yep.
And then check on your friends. Check on, if somebody who you haven't seen on the mats in a while. If they're not on social media, check them. Do a buddy check. What do you think?
Well, I think that what I love is that we don't really have anybody on our podcast that we don't just absolutely adore.
Correct. Yeah.
And yes, you should take care of yourself. Like, you should find a coach, you should find a trainer, you should find somebody, and you should be the best version of yourself. That will really help you do what you're meant to do, which is to be there for the people that you love that love you.
Yeah.
And what I have found is that, people like Steven, people like Philip, people like Greg, people like Ondu, people like Niles, people like you, enhance the quality of my life so much that these are the things that are important to me now. The best things in life aren't things.
Yeah.
They're the people and the relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And should you take care of yourself? Absolutely. But taking action means that you don't have to live with regret later.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Steven, what you got on that, man?
That sounds good, brother. It's a good way to end it.
Yeah. Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, I think with that though, having too many regrets that compound you, and you're not going to be able to live without that little voice in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're always going to have that little voice in your head when you lay down by yourself. So just making that as peaceful as you can.
Yep.
Right.
Is really what you want to do. Be honest with yourself and the people around you.
I have a teenage daughter going through those teenage years, man, and of course, talent to hit teenage. But listen, this is what, and she's not alone and the only one that has the voices and the negative talk.
We all
Here's what we do, but this is what I want you to visualize. Visualize those negative talks like a bird. They just sit on your head, right? But then shoo that bird away. Don't let it build a nest. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to build a nest of just negativity and just listen, man. I have guilt. We have guilt. If you've lived on this earth for more than 2 minutes, 6 minutes, you're going to have some sort of guilt. But surround yourself. I always talk about it. Get yourself a strong village. Get yourself a strong coach. Get yourself a strong brother, mentors. Just surround yourself with. You are loved. You're not have to go through this world alone. Don't let the shouldas, take control. Replace and Chance is right. With the people, and you just talked about it earlier, is replacing. The water, what do you call it? The water displacement. The water displacement.
replace a bad habit with good people.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely do.
It takes a village.
Yep.
Not just to raise a kid, but to live.
Yeah, to live. Yeah.
Yeah, to live. Guys, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We're going to send Steven's information on the podcast as well. Go follow him. If you're local, reach out to us. Oh, absolutely.
Favor.
Do it. Episode 16. Happy Independence Day. We'll catch you guys next time.